Let's see, I gotta come over here. That looks like it's good. I just need to then post the fact that things are going on. Things are going on. Things are going. Okay. And then over here. No, that would be the wrong place. Oop. I promise I'm a writer. I know how to spell-ish, kinda, with editor help. And post. Post. And log out. Well, hello, everyone. -3 degrees. That's kind of cold, Baron. From what I understand, that's like a lot of America right now because that whole polar vortex thing coming down from the poles. Our hat is not protecting us from the cold as well as it normally does. I think somebody took Canada off briefly. It's cold, so much put Canada back on top. Well, guys, welcome to the live chat. We are on time. Yay! Give people a minute or two to trickle in. We will go back and recap what was, what is, and what is coming up. Um, Last book published was last month, was December 13th, I believe, was the last book of Binding Words 11. It did what Binding Words always does. Sad to see the end of the story, but every story has an ending, or at least it fucking should. Um, Bittersweet, 5 years of Binding Words writing and stuff. Andy is currently recording it over on her Discord server. She's only got like a day, maybe two left of recording, and then it's with her editor, and I'll probably get it back the end of the month, early February, and then proofing, and then corrections. You'll probably end up getting the audio for Binding Words 11 um, early-ish to mid-February, we'll say. Probably. Hopefully. It depends on ACX, though, so. Um, Luck's voice is going to be recorded at the beginning of February, and then like mid-late February, she's going to roll straight into Aethers. She might start recording it before it goes up unpublished. We have to wait and see when I can get it uh, back from all the editors and proofers and compiled and whatnot. Currently, it says the 24th of February, but as always, I will aim to over deliver and get it out sooner than that. Let's see. I think that runs up. I have right after Aethers, we will be running into Heavenly Chaos 1, which I've named Heavenly Chaos because people always confuse the first book of a series with the series title. So I've taken to in the last few times making the title of the series the title of the first book. This way, there's no confusion if you're talking about Heavenly Chaos. So we don't have a Binding Words Morgan's Bidding confusion or an Aether's Revival, Aether's Blessing confusion. Just streamline it a little bit, make it a little easier for everyone. Um, I have gotten the art back for the first cover of Heavenly Chaos by a different artist than my normal artist. I really, really like what Paul did with it. Um, I'm gonna probably have him continue on doing the covers for that series if he has the time. I can't see or hear the content DJ is giving. I don't know what to tell you, Samuel. I think everyone else is good. Pretty sure other people will pop in if it's a Twitch issue. Um, and then right after Heavenly Chaos is Antecedents Legacy 3, which I'll be finishing up uh, probably another week or two, and then I will be rolling into writing Lux Voice 8. I am ahead of my editors for once. I don't know how long I'll stay there, but I'm gonna try to keep slightly ahead of them at least, for my own peace of mind. So if I take time off to go to a con or something, I don't feel like I am losing the production that I feel like I have to do because my boss is a dick. Um, as for conventions this year, I'm going to Jordan Con, which is in Atlanta in April. Um, they've they are setting up for the first time a lit RPG track at Jordan Con, and I was asked by the person piecing that together to show up and talk and things, which terrifies me to no end, just like monthly live chats do. But I am going to do it, so I will be there for that. Um, I have put back in to be an attending pro at DragonCon. We will wait and see what they say about that. And then I'll be going to what was 20 books 250K Vegas, which is now rebranded, I believe, Author Nation. I'll be going to that in November in Vegas. They will have a fan interaction day on the Friday of that, um, where you should be able to, find me, meet me, get things signed, that kind of stuff. So I am actually doing 3 conventions this year, 2 of them in Atlanta, which is weird because I live in Nevada. But that is just the way it is. So if you want to try to find me at a convention to sign things, those are where I'm going to be this year. So good luck. Let's see. Now that people are here and we have things rolling in, I'll see if there's comments that I can talk about. Questions, comments, because you guys know how live chats work, if we remember right. How do you handle burnout? Has that been an issue for you? No, I've never had a problem with burnout. The stories are in my head. I'm just an after action reporter, so I just plop them out on paper for you guys. I don't push myself to, try to do something crazy like 10,000 plus words a day to try to get a book done every month or anything like that. My minimum is 1 chapter a day. My chapters run about 2,000 words. It's consistent, which is what I enjoy. I like my routines and my habits. Um, so no, I don't foresee any kind of burnout anytime in my near future. And I know that got pinned up there by my moderator. So let me go through. What can you describe for Heavenly Chaos? Heavenly Chaos is going to be a lit RPG cultivation. It is going to be a lot lighter on numbers than most lit RPGs and cultivations. Um, there are going to be abilities that they can get, and those abilities will upgrade. They will have body stats. Those stats will be able to upgrade. Um, it is a vastly different series than anything else I've done. I have really enjoyed it. My few alpha readers who have read through it have really enjoyed it. A couple of them told me it'll be even bigger than Aether's. If that's true, that'll be fucking amazing. We will find out though. Boop. I joined a few minutes after it started. It's my internet being crappy with me. Fair enough, Samuel. That's one of the reasons I stopped using Facebook Live to do these, was because Facebook's live system was unreliable at best. Any luck decreasing video quality so you can still Oh, okay, you're trying to help Samuel. Got it, APOC. Uh, do 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 do. Oh, maybe I'm just going too fast today, guys. Is is the ogre too fast for people today? I mean, that's normal. As both my girlfriends snicker in the background. The love. I can feel the love. Uh, so much love. So for those people interested in Aethers, Patreon is currently getting the preview chapters, guys. And of course, they will get preview chapters up until I publish it, which will be sometime in February. Currently, I think like the lowest tier that gets chapters is up on chapter 10. I think it's chapter 10. So a nice little chunk there to get you started into the book for those people who want a preview but don't want to wait for it. Just a little something. Uh, what is replacing Binding Words? That is Heavenly Chaos Lost. I am just slotting it into the rotation right after Aethers instead of waiting for Binding Words' normal spot to come up, which does move some things around, but meh. I want to know what Heavenly Chaos is going to do. I knew that trying to slot it in before Aethers would get me strung up by people. So I decided not to do that. It's coming in after Aethers instead. It does mean that Antecedents and Lux Voice all got bumped back a little bit, but these are the sacrifices we make. Daniel, is Dungeon Walkers as a series completed, or will there be more? It is currently completed, Mr. M. Um, I don't foresee picking it back up. Um, like Apocalypse Gates, I don't know if it'll ever happen. Um, I left it where I did, so if I ever decide to go back and do so, I can. But I still have a lot of other stories to tell, so I'm not sure I want to go back and pick up Dungeon Walkers, which was dropping off precipitously, which is why it wrapped up where it did. If they aren't teasing you, then they don't love you. I mean, that's fair, Lost. That's I always tell my sisters the same thing. If I am not making fun of you, then do you know that I still love you? And they must have accepted that because they do occasionally still talk to me at family gatherings when they have to. So I figure that means they still love me. Oh, mom's here. Hi, mom. Everyone, be on your worst behavior. Mom's here. Got chapter 11 today, Darth Draft. Thank you. So the lowest tier that gets chapters is currently on apparently chapter 11 on Patreon. So I sit corrected. Is there more artwork in the works? Guardian, I do not have bonus artwork. I am not sure I'm going to have bonus artwork again in any like conceivable time and or routine. It's one of the reasons I have really been considering cutting the $1 tier off of Patreon, just because I don't feel like people are getting value out of it, and it really bothers me if I am getting money from people and I am not giving them something in return. I mean, so it's something I'm struggling with. I have debated restructuring all of Patreon just to make it more cost balanced. I'm not sure how to say it. Words are hard, folks. Take it from me, I use them every day. Not well, according to some people, but I still use them. Um, but yeah, I really feel bad that the $1 tier that they're doesn't get the one thing that they were uh, promised, which was artwork before anyone else, because I really don't have artwork anymore. I don't. The people who were doing extra art for me have moved on or have stopped entirely. So I don't have that to give anymore. Those preview chapters are such a tease. I want them. I mean, that's what they're there for, Wolf. They're there to make you want more of them. Driving an 18-wheeler to Long Island today. Well, Outlaw, be safe. Especially, like I said, with the whole winter storm thing across most of the United States. I mean, I live in the desert, but even we get cold. But at least we're not, 3 feet of snow cold. Uh, hey D, it's been a while. Always seemed like I was traveling one place or another when I get the stream notice. So I've been doing pretty good, Chopper. Not terrible. Life is life. Some good, some bad. Just deal with what you have to and try to make things better day by day. I can't. I cannot complain about my life. I have been blessed with uh, people who enjoy the crazy stories in my head, who will continue to help me continue to make that a living. Um, so honestly, it really does beat every other job I've had, and I get to do it because of you guys and those of you who aren't here who might be watching it later. Um, so I really can't complain about a whole lot in life right now. Uh, hey, Sir Sherf. It's been a while, sir. Ah, just popping in. No problem. Try to check back later, man. AR is my favorite, and I would have been grumpy. And I know Marius, and that's why Heavenly Chaos is coming in after Aethers and didn't come in before Aethers, because I would have had that as my best-selling series. I don't want to upset the fans who really enjoy Aethers the most. So we make a compromise. It comes in after, and Antecedents and Lux Voice have to bop back instead. And that'll give me a good idea of how people take to Heavenly Chaos. The second book of Heavenly Chaos is actually already done as well, so bonus for me. I am an extra book up when that comes around again. But I would like to know what the reception is to Heavenly Chaos from book one before I get started writing on book three. Just for reasons. If for whatever reason it does a resurrection quest on me, then I can't really put more time into it. I will never forget that. Thanks to Annie for saying her mom fights to edit the audio versions of your books. I could see some little woman putting a younger woman into a WWE wrestling submission hold, screaming that Daniel's books belong to her. I mean, from what I understand, that might not be far from the truth sometimes. Apparently, Andy's mother really, really enjoys doing the editing, the audio editing for Andy on my books. So, you, it's yeah. I am not even gonna butcher that name more than I already have. You probably just you. I feel like I should have a rubber shark puppet in my hand when I do that. For those people who can remember that. Uh, yeah, APOC. I had actually considered going up there this weekend for reasons, and seeing people. Um, I decided not to because of the that it wasn't really enough notice for me. And looking at the temperature you're posting there, I'm really really glad I decided not to now. -4 degrees with -20 something. Yeah, no, no, just no. I live in the desert for two reasons. It's warm and there's no rain. You have snow and it's cold. Ah, -20, -27 degrees Celsius. Too cold, sir. I have a feeling you're in America's hat. I have a feeling you're part of Canada. Which, by the way, please keep the cold at the border. Good God. What is that in Fahrenheit? Anyone? 27 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit? I'm going to say cold, but then I'm going to say, yeah, -27 degrees Celsius. And I'm having an editor -16 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. For whatever reason, I thought it was like -30 Fahrenheit or negative like 40 Fahrenheit, -16. Still really bad. Don't recommend it. How have you been feeling since the last book of Binding Words released? Pretty good, Wolf. It bittersweet. Like I said, five. It was like 5.5 years of Sean's story. 5.5 years, 11 books. So roughly 2 books a year, which is about right to get Sean's story told. Um, it ended the way I thought it was going to. That was the ending that I had in my head when I started the series. Some people were hoping for other things, but that was always how it was going to go. So I am glad that my characters didn't deviate more than they already did. Sean was not supposed to end up with 20 something wives, but yeah, more than they already did. At least the ending came in the way it was supposed to. Our current household animals, Marys, or Marys, are good. We have three voids and a Siamese. One of them has decided that I must pet her at all hours of the day. She will come and scream at me and demand pets if I am not petting her and she is awake. She will walk around the girlfriends to yell at me. So I had I had nothing to do with choosing this cat. I was not there when the cat was chosen from the shelter, but apparently I must pet. But they're all in good health, so I'm going to leave that there with a quick tap on my desk. Aethers is my favorite. You all gonna love Heavenly Chaos. Yep, one of my alpha readers chiming in there. What is the gap in sales between AR and your other stories? Now that Binding Words is done, Guardian, double. Aethers does double what every other series does now. With Binding Words, it wasn't quite double, but it was still well above. At this point, Aethers has become my best-selling series across everything I've ever written. So, because it's through 7 books, yeah, because eight is coming up. Eight is Proven Strength. So through 7 books of Aethers, um, same timeline, book to book. So through the first 7 of Binding Words, the first 7 of Alpha World, the first 7 of Apocalypse Gates, it has outsold all of those on a one to one comparison. Adding in the 8th of all the other series I ended, and possibly even all 11 of Binding Words, I think through 7 of Aethers has outsold all the way through 11 of Binding Words. I'd have to go back and actually break down the numbers all the way, but I'm fairly certain. Aethers, when it came out, was hands down the biggest selling single book I've ever done. And the series has mostly continued at that pace. There has been, of course, been some drop off. There's always going to be some drop off as the series goes on, but it is still substantially more than every other series. People would call me crazy and tell me I should write just Aethers, but I actually write better rotating series. So if you like the books, and even if you only like Aethers, if you like how the style is written and everything, then you want me to write the other series because they help keep me sane and moving forward. As I found out when I was writing Alpha World to begin with, I needed something to flop with. Is anybody else having connection problems? Fifth or sixth frame of the video. We had somebody else having that same problem just a little while ago, Rob. So it is not just you. There are other people who have had connection issues as well. Oh my goodness, the Sea Raptor is here. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. The YouTuber, Twitch streamer, Warship gamer, and hopefully soon board gamer on Twitch and stuff as well. My good friend Sea Raptor had an appearance in my very first series as somebody else, another character name he used to play as. Ah, yes. I routinely visit him on during his twitching and bother him. One of these days I'm gonna hook up with him again and play games for a day, but one of these days. Life is life. A friend of mine who doesn't normally read harem loved Binding Words and absolutely loved the last book. Thank you, Lost. I appreciate that. Since most harem nowadays seems to be fap fodder more than actual story, I can understand where they don't care for most harem. Since I write stories that just have large romances, I think that's vastly different. I am not sure how else to say it, honestly. I mean, I am technically branded into harem, but at the same time, I am vastly different than the majority of harem. So it gets frustrating at times trying trying to describe my books to someone and not immediately turn them off. What made you decide to name the three main characters in Resurrection Quest Tom, Dick, and Harry? I mean, because everyone knows Tom, Dick, and Harry. Rodriguez. Guaranteed you know one or more of those personalities in your life. If you don't, I am shocked and surprised, sir. Uh, it's just too cold, guys. I'm glad I live in the desert. See, Phantom understands. A little warm for winter for me, Phantom, and definitely way too wet because you're in Florida. But at least the temperature's good. Way too much humidity though. I mean, but that's what you get for living on a jut of land in an ocean. It's 70 here today. It's supposed to be 40 tomorrow. That is a bit of a swing. I'll be honest. A bit of a swing, sir. uh, I'm just here for the ogre stairs. Well, Jazz, I'm glad I could help. I could help out at least a little bit there. We did get at least one stare at just the sheer coldness of temperature because I thought it was well worse than negative 16 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, it's bad enough, but I forget that that's where things start matching up because zero is actually freezing for for Celsius instead of 32 degrees for Fahrenheit. It's the one thing that really bothers me about Fahrenheit. What is freezing? 32. No, it should be zero. It should be where it starts. Oh well. Binding Words was great. Can't wait to try out Heavenly Chaos. I know I'm still hooked on Aethers and Ancient Seasons. I appreciate that, Wolf. Have the sales for Antecedents been good? Yeah, fairly decent lost. Um, I know a lot of people are probably going to be happy with book three. There was a lot of chatter about people wanting something specific, and luckily for them, it happens. I'm just gonna leave that there and have you all go crazy trying to figure out what broad stroke I'm hinting at. Got me, Mom. If I knew that, I'd have a much bigger idea. And for those people wondering, I am, like 10 minutes behind in chat because that helps me continue to have things to talk about as we go on. So if anyone is new here and wondering why I seem so far away, the first book, Raptor, was 7 years ago. Hang on. Let me. What is this? This is gonna be October, so eight. It'll be 8 years this October. So yeah, a little over 7 years ago from first publishing date. So yeah, it was it was a little while ago since I put out Last Horizon with the bananas. For us gaming as the bananas and WoW, it was of course much longer than that, but actually several authors I follow started doing the same rotation style too, and it's been helping them as well. I just think it keeps the story fresh in the brain. Um, I personally need to step away from Doc or Greg or Sean or anyone else for a little while, so it really works out for me. For the bananas. Ah, yes, for the bananas. Hello there, G Kenobi, General Kenobi. Hello there. Hello there to you too, General Kenobi. Will you do an isekai where Sean or one of his pantheon is the motivating deity? I don't plan on it currently, Dave. I have I have a lot of other stories that have been simmering in the back burner, waiting for something to fall off so it can start. In this case, Heavenly Chaos. Um, and then I still have Grafting Demons, which is my Demon Punk series, and I've actually started tinkering with a System Apocalypse series as well. So I got I got plenty of things. I just don't have slots in the rotation for them. So, but I am currently not planning on a Sean being the patron deity in another one of my series. I really don't like crossovers so much. So I miss the bananas too, Raptor. I miss the bananas too. The old days of raiding in BC and Wrath. I miss I miss those days. I miss Nax achievement runs where I break a glass. He understands. Nobody else will get that story except the people who are there for it, and I'm not going to explain it. So, ha. Given that Gregory and AR is young, 20-ish by my guess, how many more books do you hope it'll take to tell Gregory's story? Ghostin will take as many books as it takes for Gregory to tell me his story. Considering that he has to go up against the divine cultivator in the Emperor, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a bit still. He has just reached Magus. He is not a master, grandmaster, elder, or sage, so it's going to be a little bit yet. Now, there are going to be skips in there, as you would expect, but only where they make sense and where routine has set in, so you understand that the next day for them was pretty much like the day before, as with most of my writing. I write slice of life, it just happens to have harem. Yeah, 100% humidity all day. No, just no. My 5% humidity is perfectly fine. I don't know if it's okay to ask this, feel free to delete, but how did it feel to write Greg, in the circumstances he's in without the normal support he had for AR7. Um, Gregory on his own for his northern year uh, posting along along the north border of the forest of the Empire, it was vastly different. I mean, he still had Rafik that he could talk to, and as you guys uh, saw and heard, that was a big help for him. He had at least somebody he can confide in to help when command was starting to press down on him. Dealing with rampant bigotry um, was something that really took a toll on him. It's vastly different because there's none of the emotional support normal that he would have. None of his wives were there. Um, so it was vastly different in that regard. Going into AR8s where he goes and catches up with a majority of them again. That's that helps not just him but them as well. Even though they know that in the future they're probably going to be separated for longer than a year at any given time. Hey Raph, thanks for stopping in during your break, man. I appreciate it. Do you have a fully divine pantheon in place before you write stories involving deities, or how does it develop over time? It depends on the story, Matt. Aethers has had very specific god of war, god of magic, god of death, god of travel, goddess of love, right? That was it. Those were what was going to be there. There was not going to be any more deities that popped up. Um, for binding words, the number of deities that popped up was going to be quite a lot because he was going to eventually interact with deities outside of just the queens. So it depends on story, honestly. Um, do I need to break down every single deity? How many are there? In Aethers, it was very simple because I knew exactly what I was looking for. That's Aethers was one of the more easily defined settings for me. It was there and ready to go when I started to write it. I just got back from Thailand from Christmas and New Year's. It was in the 90s and 90% humidity. Well, I mean, you were on the opposite pole, so that makes perfect sense. You know, you were where it was summer in December. So that's a huge broad stroke, and that was the point, Wolf. I have to go back and reread Binding Words 11 again. Rushed reading it so I could return it in December and buy it this month. Debated on whether to do the entire series or just the ending ones. Uh, but I also started the Dark Thorn Academy series in the meantime. It's fair enough, yeah. I mean, if you want the full arc, because you can go back and see some of the foreshadowing that was laid back in the first couple of books that then come to fruition at the end. Go for it. If you just want to enjoy the last bit of the story again, do that. I mean, it's entirely up to you. First time chat. Off on Goodreads, when a new book is released, it's hard to find or not even there, makes it hard to keep track of books. If you read them early and fast, any possibilities for that to change? I have no input on Goodreads. That Goodreads is part of Amazon Corp now, as far as I am aware. So that is entirely up to them. If you want to keep track of new releases from me, there's my Discord server, there's my Facebook fan page, there's my Twitter account, there's my mailing list, and I always notify when a new book is up so people know when to go get them, especially since I try to over deliver. I try to get them out sooner than I say. Because I really don't want it, you guys being like, it's the 24th, where's the book? And being like, oh, yeah, it's going to be the 27th after all. I'd rather be like, so guys, it's going to come out on the 27th, and then be like, you know what, I changed my mind. It's the 24th. Here it is. So, Antecedents got me into Battletech again. Had to start researching mechs. I mean, that doesn't sound like a a bad thing to me, Lost. That sounds like a good thing. Then again, I like BattleTech. Whoop. That's not me. Technically, Eastern Colorado is in the desert, but it's 6,800 feet up. That doesn't count. That's a mountain. You can call it a desert, but that's a mountain. Yes. Here comes the clan. Sea Raptor of the clan is the. Oh, it is okay. System Apocalypse is a genre by itself nowadays. Guardian. It's basically what happens if a lit RPG system came to Earth, and society, as you know it, basically comes to a crumbling halt because normally technology stops working and magic kicks in. That is a broad stroke of what a System Apocalypse book is. Most of them, everything technological just stops immediately. Everything just dead, and you have to figure it out as you go along again, basically throwing us back into the Dark Ages. Normally, there is a system in place, though, so you can start getting information or the new uh, universal technology and trying to figure out how it works and make things go from there. Like I said, I've just been playing around with an idea of it, so I don't have anything to give you as a broad stroke on that because I'm not comfortable doing that when I'm only like a chapter or three in. Personally, I appreciate not making everything crossovers. I feel like I have to read an entire other series to know what's going on. Fair enough, Arcros. There are some authors I think who do it fairly well. I am not one of them. I am just an after action reporter. I tell you what my characters tell me, and then shake my head when they do something stupid like life bond the entire staff. Sean, I'm looking at you, buddy. So it would get really really complicated if there was crossovers in there. That's why people have asked me, well, have you thought about doing a series that follows some of the other sub characters of Aethers? And no, because in my head the story is Greg and what Greg is doing. So I couldn't give you chapters and chapters of what Jen was doing or what Yuki was doing because I'm just an after action reporter. I'm embedded in Greg, and that sounds terrible. I am following Greg around and finding out what he does and reporting it to you guys. There, that's way better than saying it that other way. Uh, scroll, scroll, scroll. Woot, I made it, though I'm a multitasking between a work call in one ear and DJ in the other. CB or SB, I will always call you CB. I don't know why. I think it's the S. I just like wanna put in the EA in front of it. Um, Welcome in. Please don't get in trouble at work. I feel that once you're over 50 books in an overarching connected story, it's hard to keep everything straight. That would be problematic, Guardian, at least for me. Then again, two books of an interconnecting thing would be hell for me. So lots of crossover stuff makes the books feel like they have a lot of inside jokes. I mean, there's good and bad with them. There's good and bad with them. When will we ever find out what happened to Vera in the past? Well, Draft, that would be a spoiler if I wanted to go into it, if I ever go into it. So, for those people who like me staring at the camera when people ask me spoilers, uh, the the wife count for Aethers is set APOC. I know exactly who they are, where they are, and there will be, not be any surprises. If Greg suddenly turns around and goes, you know what, I want to life bond this entire town, he's gonna get fucking killed, and then I'll resurrect him, and then we'll have a chat, and he'll do it right. So I'm not allowing that to happen again. Not allowing it to happen again. I don't know how it works exactly. I've seen authors put up books 3 months in advance. So, DJ, I could put up the next book of a series and the next two books of a series as pre-orders and state and give an estimated release date for them. When you do a pre-order, you have to give to Amazon the book 72 hours, at minimum 72 hours before the book is actually published. So, like if I put up Aethers as a February 24th pre-order today, I would actually be having to hand them the manuscript by the 21st, so then it could be released on the 24th. It's one of the reasons I don't like doing pre-orders, because if I have it done by the 21st to give to them for your pre-order, I could just release it on the 21st. Now, I know a lot of authors who like to put the pre-order for the next book of a series up, you know, a year ahead of time. Hey, this time next year, this time in 8 months, whatever. And that's just a placeholder because you can always move that date forward. Um, this way, people, when they get to the end of the book, can just pre-order the next one, and that's guaranteed a guaranteed sale because hey, people are already locked into buying it. Um, there is question about how that affects sales ranking because sales ranking is one of the major things that pushes the books on also bots and what's popular, as much as reviews do, which is why reviews are very, very important. They're the things that help push the book on also bots to get more eyes on the series to bring more people to it. So we don't have any hard numbers from Amazon about how they handle pre-order sales counting into when the book actually releases. And because of that, it's a gray area on whether it would hurt or help. So that's one of the reasons I don't do pre-order along the same vein as I could give it to you 3 days sooner than whatever a pre-order is. Now I have done pre-orders in the past, normally for things that I've had finished and ready to go, but I still want to leave like a 6 week gap in between the last book that published, so it's had a good span by itself because no normal author wants to span a book more than once a month because of discretionary income. Most people aren't going to turn around and buy 6 books in a month, but they'll buy one this month, they'll buy one next month, that kind of thing. So you do kind of want to space out how you sell them as well. So I don't know if all that rambling answered any of that, but I rambled and there you go. I think the difference with AR is taking its time. Honestly, Aethers so far has had more time in world than Binding Words had. Binding Words had like a year and a half from start to finish. So, the first 3 books of Aethers. So there's a vast difference in time as well as Guardian says. And there's the Discord server. Thank you, Ark. Binding Words had Sean and like 11 ladies at once. I mean, that was Sean just, mm, yeah. See, McKnight, you might or might not be onto something with that comment, and I'm just gonna hoping there won't be any new ones for a long time. The ones that are introduced are beyond good, with maybe one more to equal out the 3 pattern for Claudia. So the women who are introduced and have been introduced for Aethers were always intended. They all have their own purpose and time and place for things. They all have reasons. They're not just thrown in as fluff. This is why they all have their own personalities, even if they all are cultists. That's where using the Kindle X-ray feature can be a godsend for readers. And I ooh, you know what? I don't know if I ever got it up for Binding Words 11. I'll have to go back and check, Rob. I tried to do it within a day or two, but I remember trying to do it like day of release, and Amazon or KDP, the interface for me putting it up on Amazon, was just throwing a fit about X-ray, and I couldn't get it to function. So I don't know if I went back and did it or not. But if I have not, I will make sure to do it in the next day or two because I do like my books having the X-ray feature. The X-ray feature, guys, is if you're on Kindle and you're reading, um, if the author has taken the time to do it themselves, you can tap a name and it'll bring up a little excerpt that the author has typed in. So you can, hit Fiona and it'll come up used to have left side of her body mithril, married to Sean McDougal, known as the first wife, just whatever I've typed into it. So Glorina, head chef of the house, rabbit, moonbound, normally hair eye color, just to kind of refresh, so you know who she is. She likes uh, to do posing for her for artwork. Just a little something to help refresh you on who's who. And it's a feature I wish more authors would use. Having used it myself, it does take time. It normally takes me an hour to 3 hours, depending on how much of a bitch KDP is being about me setting things up via um, X-Ray. Because their system isn't stable and they don't care because it doesn't actually make them any money. Is there some kind of option for notifications on new blog posts? Not as far as I know, Tajir. I normally have them up on the first of every month by 3 a.m. I have failed at least once in the past, but normally I set them up ahead of time. I normally set them up a day or two ahead of time to post on the first by 3 a.m. So, yep, Mathfield is in the background. AG was kind of a system apocalypse. I mean, yes, but no, Jazz. It was an apocalypse setting, but you knew that it was 100% digital because the main character's brain had been uploaded into it. That's different than how most system apocalypse books go, which is, hey, it has come to Earth and everyone's fucked. So, yes, yes, and no, Jazz. It really didn't come out all that great, guys. It really did not come out all that great, guys. So, where was I? We're back to my embedded in Gregory comment. So, yep. Like I said, I'm about 10 minutes behind comments. So every once in a while I catch back up to one of those moments and get reminded that I don't speak well. There's a reason why I do these once a month and only once a month. I am not a public speaker. Do you ever have a story go off a completely different direction, and could you see yourself doing a Skippy MC arc? I don't foresee ever a Skippy main character. Skippy shall forever be an asshole who gets killed off normally soon after being introduced. I had a story one time go off in the wrong direction. That was when I was writing Apocalypse Gates for the first time, where my asshole main character, who was not supposed to be nice, ended up becoming more like a paladin, where he wanted to help people. So I rewrote Apocalypse Gates 1, and we have the Alvin that we've all known and love over the 8 books that Apocalypse Gates went on. Tattoos for the new series yet? No, Gia, Gia, yeah, yeah. I don't have new artwork yet, and I'll have to figure out where I want it anyway. My forearms are covered already, and then I have both calves have art on them as well. So I mean, and I have also on my shoulders, I have my Badger over here and Lux Voice over there. So I'm I've already tied up a bit of body on praise to the books that I've written. I always said I would get a tattoo, and I had something that I felt strongly enough to get tattooed on my body. I am very proud of every series I've written, even Resurrection Quest, which we try not to talk about anymore. Um, I have an idea of what the artwork is going to be. It'll probably end up being the same image that ends up on the coin, which might or might not be in progress, and we'll leave it there. But yes, I will end up getting another tattoo when I have artwork for Heavenly Chaos that I want to tattoo on my body. I'm multitasking as well, snowed in and watching the in laws' kids with my own. Well, Paul, it's very nice of you to watch other people's kids while also watching your own. Remember, when it goes quiet, something's going on. Or at least that's what it always used to be when we were growing up. Nowadays, I don't know, they might be quiet more if they're like just like what was that? Doing the phone thing, doom scrolling, doom scrolling. Will Antecedent's Legacy have more crafting and bringing tech to their universe? I mean, Badger isn't gonna do it. Xander's not gonna do crafting. The best he would do would be like, hey, this is something that should possibly get built. I mean, he's mentioned at least one thing to the manufacturer of mechs head engineer and been like, hey, this kind of weaponry would be really nice to have if you don't mind. Um, will there be more of that? We'll have to see. But he is not a crafter. Uh, no, no, no hardcore Holly. I don't. If you want to life bond with people, it will not be Jen Pettit life bonding with people. So enjoyed the mailing list story uh, with the recording. Yeah, I put an audio version of the mailing list short story up on Patreon. Andy was kind enough to do it during her winter break, and I put it up on Patreon. I still have to figure out how to set it up to attach it to the mailing list. It's not as in, that system is not as intuitive as I would like. So I'll get around to it eventually. It's just one of those, as most things in my life, I'll get around to it eventually. So, meh, you know how it is. You do a little thing, then people want more thing, and then you do another little thing, and then people want more thing, and all of a sudden you're doing three jobs for the pay of one. It's not worth it. Do you think Gregory will get his memories back in one big slap, or will they come as a trickle? I mean, you'll find out when I do, Rain. Uh, Wife count is set for Aethers. It's not. See, in APOC, in Aether's case, it's never going to be a matter of being neglected. It's going to be a matter of where are they, what are they doing, and why are they doing it. When he is not near very specific people, it's because they have other things that have to get taken care of. So, so Aether's 8 proven strength is with my proofers currently. We're gonna get it proofed. We're gonna get it compiled. We're gonna put it all together, and then you guys are gonna get it in February. When in February? On or before the 24th. We'll find out once as things move along. And then Heavenly Chaos will come out, and then Antecedents Legacy 3, and then Lux Voice 8, and then Aether Survival 9, and then Heavenly Chaos 2, and we'll just rotate through. Um, I will find out whether or not Lux Voice 8 will end the series, or if it's going to be Lux Voice 9. Lux Voice 7 took the timeline and ramped it up. And I'm not going to say more than that because the audio hasn't been out yet. Because of what he did in books 5 and 6 for certain people. And I could talk about that. He made some people shamans and then sent them back to their home countries. There are ramifications for doing so that he did not take into consideration, which happens in Lux Voice 7, early in Lux Voice 7. Um, and that sets the tone on how Lux Voice 7 goes, and it's gonna then push into Lux Voice 8. So the timeline between the end of 7 and the beginning of 8, I will tell you right now, there is a gap of years. I am not he I have gapped the he went to Zaros and uh Chin Chin Qin China. I'm skipping the Russia China bit because honestly that is there wasn't going to be enough in depth there because the story to me is always about the American West. So I've basically there's going to be a recap and then him coming back to America is where Lux Voice 8 is going to start. So those people who are really interested to see what was going to happen when he went to the eastern countries, I'm very sorry, you're not getting that. There was never going to be enough progress there that couldn't just be summed up before him coming back to America, where the story always was for me. Uh, you get a window into a given world that doesn't include anyone or anything outside of that worldview. Does that about cover it? That's pretty much it, Draft. I am basically over the shoulder of one character, following along, seeing what they're doing, reporting it back to you guys. So you get information normally when they get information. So when they get a letter from home, they have a dream with darkness. Those are the moments you guys get filled in as well, because those are the moments he got filled in. I really don't like split POVs. If a split POV is going to happen, it's normally just before the main character walks into the room or just after the main character walks out of the room. Because for me, it normally has to stay with the main character. I deviate a tiny bit, a fraction more with Heavenly Chaos. But it's still when the main character has just left or is coming back. But there's a little more wiggle room because it follows the other main supporting characters. And like I said, the main character is like just there for it. So I really like the way it works. It works out, and it's not as jarring as, hey, here's 3 chapters of the bad guys. I don't want 3 chapters of the bad guys. I want 3 chapters of the hero. I want to follow the main character around. I don't want to know what the bad guys are doing. They're bad guys. Don't humanize them. I don't want to humanize the bad guy. Everyone's the hero of their own stories. Even bad guys don't think they're bad guys. They just think, well, this asshole doesn't understand the good that I'm doing. Have my annual review at the top of the hour, so I'll be battling. No problem. You hope it goes well for you. I am 15 minutes behind now. That is amazing. Speaking of reviews, I assume a written review is what counts. Just clicking the stars in the Kindle. There is more weight put on written reviews. The stars at the end of the Kindle actually do help now, but we don't have numbers or solid facts from Amazon about how much or how little because they don't want people supposedly gaming the system. And I understand that. If you tell people how things are done, we're going to break it and game it and make it work for us, especially for gamers. However, it gets really frustrating because I can't tell you, no, you really should write those minimum 10 words so I get the written review weight. as opposed to, yeah, no, the stars are fine. So honestly, anything you do, I appreciate. And you're not here at this point. I know that because it's you're getting your review, but maybe you've gone back and watched this after the fact. So if you're the one who knows all the wives, does that mean you are darkness? I mean, no, it just means she that I know what she knows, Trius. Uh, where was I? Hey, Yak. Doing pretty good. It's not bad. Today is not a bad day. Uh, I do a special Discord ping. Did you? If you're part of the Discord server, um, under normally the announcements, I post the link. I post the monthly live chat, and I tag the live chat uh role. So all you have to do is join the live chat role, and then it'll ping that when the post gets made. Oh, death to lawful stupid. Hmm. Good old paladins. Good old first edition paladins. Matt, a few people have said they've had connection issues. I'm gonna say it's probably the polar vortex fucking with things, since most of the country is underneath a polar vortex warning currently. Came across a great shout out for you, DJ, on another author's work. Uh, in one of Misty Vixen's stories, the MC has a preference for larger, more voluptuous women when discussing a nickname of the new goth girlfriend. Someone suggests Gothy, and someone else said, "No, that's already taken." That's nice. I had no idea, um, and I don't mind that. That's perfectly fine. There's still plenty of canvas on your arms. Yeah, I mean, it just requires shaving off the forest of hair. That's the great part of being, you know, part Italian and whatnot is I have all of the body hair you could possibly want, and a whole lot you probably never want as well. Hey, I forgot to close out Discord before I started things today. I know because I just got pinged. There we go. I won't get pinged on Discord now. Doo da, doo da. My phone will still get pinged though, because I didn't silence that. Well. Where was I? Talking of coins, my second arrived just before Christmas. Must say thank you. Love the AR coin. No problem, Ghosted. And for those people who don't know, these live chats, the uh, the the big thing I think that draws people in, and I could be wrong. There are 48 of you here, my gods. Is the fact that at the end of it, everybody I've called out made a comment about answered a question for. One of my moderators is taking all of your names and putting them on a list. And then that all gets added up. And then I use my random number generator and pick five ish, 5 or 6, normally five, names off of that list. And then contact you via Twitch here. There's a little like chat bubble in the upper right hand corner of Twitch called Whispers. I message people there and say, hey, you've won. I need to know which coin you'd like and what your shipping address is. And if you are overseas, I need your full shipping address and your legal name so I can ship it to you. Because customs, meh. Um, some countries are brutal about them. Other countries just go, meh, it's just some kind of like weird coin. Who cares? Um, but so I can get you then one of the challenge coins. On the Discord server on Facebook, there are pictures of them. I have currently a challenge coin for every current series written. Heavenly Chaos, I do not because I don't have artwork for it yet and it has not yet been published. The coin for that will probably run well behind um, Heavenly Chaos being published. But if you have a favorite series of mine, I have a coin for that. So, and people will get them here. Every month I give away coins, and then the published anniversary in October, the full-time author anniversary in May, when I do more giveaways. Outside of the red shirt cameo that some people get, there is also the coins I give out. So if you are looking for coins for the challenge coins, they are there. Good old Nokia cell phones could never be destroyed. Ah, yes, back in the day. Duct tape. It can be used for everything except ducks. Duct tape and WD-40. I mean, they everyone kind of knows what they do. One makes things stop moving, the other things help the thing move. If you do it really wrong, things are really going to move. Uh, is there any chance that Andy would go back and record the first old mailing list story? No, Drath, I'm not even going to ask her. Um, she did not record two of those series. She did not do Last Horizons or Alpha World, and I'm not going to put her on the spot by trying to make her do voices for those. So because that was the crossover where those were prevalent. So Lux Voice 7 barely squeaked into the minimum, but since I know that at most Lux Voice is going to run 9 books, I'm committed to finishing it out, even if it means I'm taking a loss on the last one or two. Um, like I said, it might finish in 8, it might finish in 9. Either way, it's going to come to a conclusion, and I'm perfectly fine with that at this point. Dungeon Walkers was one I really had to be wary about because that series was possibly going to run long, and then of course really didn't. I wake up on Mondays and Thursdays just to catch the new chapters of AR8. Seems like this book may be the largest of the series so far. It is actually not. I know how many words it is. It is not the thickest boy of the ARs. Um, it is an average AR. I'll say that. Reading the last Lux voice at one point, I had to stop and go, wait, man, is this the same guy who started off that small town casino introducing Texas Hold'em? Yep, it really is. It really is. Split POVs are a pain. I was reading a book that changed characters every chapter and it was following 6 people. God, no, I would not read that book. That would kill me. Just no. Just no. You are catching up because of the weather somehow. I mean, fair enough, Paul. Let's see. That was 103. I am back 10 minutes back again. So there we go. Only 10 minutes behind. Catching up, doing the thing. I have a girlfriend cheering me on in the background, so life is good. Maybe she just got used to that because I said I was almost done. Have you ever thought about doing a book with two MCs in DriftNet, but the tracks meet up and you finish? Uh, no, Rain. I don't set up those. I don't set up that kind of premise. I normally set up with this the main character. This is the story. Let's run with it. I need to figure out what the world is that goes with him, or this is the world. Okay, this is the main character that fits that world. Let's see where he goes. I don't go, hey, I want to write these two guys that do these things and eventually meet up together, or hey, I really decided I wanted to do something else. I normally it starts with this is the seed kernel. I want to write a cultivation about the god of magic who's finally reborn. Aether survival. I want to write about my best friend being stuck in a world run by the Fey Queens. Binding words. I want to know what happens If you have a truly lawful individual who has to deal with the fact that his best friend's daughter was abused and, nearly killed, Alpha World. I always start with a seed, and then the story takes off from there. I don't normally say, hey, I want to do a book with two MCs and then try to meet them up. I don't think I'd ever do that because, once again, it gets confusing to me. One main character per series. Is it important to do the review on individual books or in the series page? Individual books, Paul. I don't know if anybody has any information about what reviewing on a series page actually does. Because as far as I know, it doesn't carry over to each individual book. And I've never seen Amazon push a series. I've only ever seen them push individual books. So, and yes, if you're wondering, I am talking with my hands. I am Italian. Uh, but just think how poor Greg would feel if darkness pulled back and your bearded face was there to smile at him. I'm pretty sure he'd be horrified. I'm pretty sure I would be horrified if I saw Gregory in that case. Honestly. Hey, what's up, Greg? Nice to see you. You can go. I'm just gonna talk to your wives. So Aethers is mostly Far East influence cultivation. Any medieval European cultivation coming? Aethers is kind of a mesh up. It has more Eastern influences than anything else, but it is not solely Eastern. You can see that especially with places like Buldoon and Krogha and stuff. Um, the Heavenly Chaos doesn't pull from Eastern um, stereotypes, Eastern influences, influences. So, uh, where was I? Do you have a general idea of how long Heavenly Chaos is going to run if it does well? No, Arctic, that is silly because I've already said that I always thought that Alpha World was going to run 3 books, and then 5, and then 6, and then eventually it was 8, and it should have probably been 9. So asking me how long a series is going to be is always going to be a. You'll find out when I do. You know it's January when you still reference last year. No, Selm, I'm pretty sure I'll still be referencing last year later into this year. So just just it's I think it's gonna happen. Checks bookshelf. Will Tales of the Dead Man's End ever be available in physical edition? Um, I mean, I'm not gonna say no, APOC, but honestly, outside of Resurrection Quest, that is my worst selling book because it was just a small anthology of short stories collected from Alpha World. Um, so I am not sure if I want to pay people to go and compile that into a physical edition for me when I know that the only people who will want it will be like you and like 4 others. I'm not totally against it. I'm just not sure I'm going to put time into it. If you put WD-40 on a duck, it'll still squeak. Yeah, but it'll move too as well, Jazz. So hey, WD-40 still does its job, makes things move. Doesn't say anything about not making them squeak. Just means that it'll move. Do you follow any professional sports? Not anymore, Rob. My life is reading for the hour a night, playing video games where I can, spending time with my girlfriends, and writing. Mostly the writing. I don't I don't have the mental bandwidth to give to professional sports anymore. I still enjoy some football every once in a while. I still enjoy some hockey every once in a while. I still enjoy playoff baseball, and I can always enjoy a good highlight reel of baseball. Um, but I don't really follow professional sports anymore. Magi Path looks like the thickest book on your shelf. Um, yeah, it sounds about right. CB, sounds about right. Uh, yeah. I mean, that's the reason it's book 4 and 5 were books 4 and 5 and not just book four. Because I remember at the end of when book 4 came out, people were like, "You could have included the tournament onto the end of book 4. You didn't have to stop it there." And I'm like, "You guys don't understand everything that's going to happen during the Buldoon tournament. There's a reason why it's a separate book, and there was a reason why it was a separate book." So, regarding Dungeon Walkers, I think it didn't do as well because people were expecting something closer to Alpha World setting. I mean, it could be Chopper. Other people say that it was probably because there was no like overarching villain, no grand problem he had to go and solve. So it could be a couple of different things. It could have been the fact that it was Fade to Black. So 4 or 5 different things it could have been. Uh, how do I get a copy of this short story? I'm happy to just you go to the mailing list, Xerox. If you go to shinhofenbooks.com, my website, there's a place to sign up for the mailing list. It'll then get emailed to you. So that is how you get it. Uh, we need a series where the ogre isekais himself, and we get to see him trying to plot out his own story, how he would write it. That is more Scotty Futch than me, Archron. I know that he was working on a story where that happened. I don't think he's published anywhere yet. I think it was up on his Patreon for a while. My wife said we should order sporks so we don't have to decide between forks and spoons. When I said all hail the mighty sporks, she looked at me like I was crazy. I am now part of the cult of the spork. CCB? That's what happens. They start small, and then that's all you got in the drawer anymore. The only time I have seen a whole series promoted is by via paid advertisement, which is something I've never done, Draft. I am still continually amazed that I have done as well as I have when I have never paid for advertising. I have used Facebook, I have used Twitter, I've used mailing lists and stuff. I have never paid for advertising. I know some people tell me I would sell even more if I did, but honestly, once again, that is less time I would then have to write. So I don't do it. One of these days, I'll find someone I trust who can do it and then get them to do it for me. Uh, and Patreon. The audio is on Patreon arc. The written form is via the mailing list. Facebook has been advertising antecedents a lot lately. That would be because that is through Podium. That I signed the rights of the audio to Podium, Kenobi. So they are the ones advertising it. So there is that. If you want digital access, subscribe to the mailing. Okay. Uh, Short story. Also, did DJ talk about the crossover that Andy was recording? That is the short story, CB. The mailing list short stories. You can go to shinofenbooks.com and subscribe to the mailing list where I send out emails only when there is an audiobook that has come out or an ebook that has come out. It's just another way to be notified. But there is a short story that only the mailing list gets. I took the audio that you recorded, which was one of those, and put it on Patreon. Do do do. I think I'm gonna catch you guys. Do da, do da. think I'm gonna catch you guys. Have you ever finished Baldur's Gate 3? No, I've made it to Act 3 in my single player game. And the game that I am playing slowly with Andy, we are on Act 2. I think we just made it to Act 2. So, no, I have not. I once again don't play a whole lot. My girlfriend has finished it 4 times. Four Finished it 4 times. How many different games have you started? 12. So, obviously, she plays more than I do. You should totally subscribe to the mailing list. Do, 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 do. Where am I? I'm not sure if we'll know more. Do, 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 do. Oh, tell her hi from me, Ark. I will be seeing her hopefully this year at DragonCon if things still work out like they're supposed to. So, if Antecedents has sporks, how about the Clipazine? Clipazine is solidly in Apocalypse Gates. There's a joke about it in book 2 or 3. I want to say 3. I'm at my max for today with handling things like this and my migraine. No problem, McKnight. You have a good day, man. I hope the migraine calms down for you again. And I've caught up to everyone, so yay! How much profit do you lose when it goes through Podium? That is a good question, Wolf. I don't know. Antecedents was signed with them so I could hopefully get a little more comparison because I know that like they do promoting, which I don't do. So I need this. Once again time. I need to sit down and break down numbers, something I have not done. How are the girls doing? Uh, my my girlfriends are okay. I talked about I talked about the one girlfriend going in for tests and whatnot. She went in and got the MRI done. Turns out she does have, in fact, have a brain tumor on her pituitary gland. Words. Hang on. We're gonna try that again. Pituitary gland. There's a medication that is supposed to shrink the tumor that is not chemo and doesn't require brain surgery. So we're trying that. I hope it works. It does, of course, have side effects, which we are learning to deal with. I say we when it's mostly her and me looking at her going, "Are you okay? Can I help?" But that we are dealing with because I'm taking some credit for helping. That's my story. Must resist Patreon. I mean, it's totally up to you, Breg. I'm just gonna call you Breg now. It's either that or I call you Grin. Maybe I'll call you Grin. Grin. Hey, Grin. Must resist Patreon. It's hard enough when I read a book on the day it comes out and have to wait for the have to wait for the next chapter in a week. Well, you get 2 chapters a week. You get them on Mondays and Thursdays. See, I'm not so mean as to only give you 1 chapter a week. You get 2. You signed away your audiobooks rights. Did they pay you a fortune? Xerox, once again, I don't make nearly the money you think I do. I get about the same percentage I get out of if I do them myself. The big difference being is they do marketing. I do not. So I need to find out, once again, by sitting down and breaking down numbers, something I have not done, whether or not it actually makes a difference or not. What classes are you playing? I am in my solo game. I am a sorcerer because you always need a talkie character in those games. You need someone who can persuade people to give you information and things. Um, with my game with Andy and Skitty, I am playing the rogue because you also need someone who can do things like take out the traps, open up the chests, and backstab people for stupid amounts of damage. Um, so those are the games I'm currently playing. We are talking my other girlfriend into possibly doing a three-player game with us. She started it. She did not care for the Mind Flayer story background that is behind Baldur's Gate. She has said that she will give it a try with both of us. That will be entertaining. That is one Chaos Goblin or Gremlin. Goblin. One Chaos Goblin, one cat, and me. I am the most tactically minded thinker in the house. Instead of the two Chaos Goblins, which is Andy and Skitty, where I do my best to pull us through fights because they're both doing, oh, I guess I should have done that instead. Mm. And one of these days, I am going to sit down and play a two-player game with Skitty in honor mode so we can have golden D20s. That will be brutal. So, but we're going to try it. We are going to try it. Actually, my other girlfriend has just started to run a tabletop D&D game for us, which is fun. I have not been able to be a player in a D&D tabletop D&D game for years now. Um, so it is entertaining being able to break out the chops. I have decided to play a war turtle. So I am a 7 foot tall, 450 pound turtle. I am not a Squirtle. I do not have a water breath weapon. I have a giant axe and a shield instead. So it is entertaining. It has been a while since I broke out the playing aspect of D&D. It has been 20 something years since you've DM'd a game. At least 20 years since she's DM'd a game. So a bit of a shaking off the rust process for both of us. So it's been fun. We got one game in. We're gonna see how it goes. I am also running their Feywilds game. So we're probably gonna be trading back and forth on who DMs what week, so everyone gets to play. Uh, where? Okay, there. Okay, there. Before everything catches us, obligatory reminder: check your Twitch whispers in the next 24 to 48 hours to see if you have a message from DJ. Thank you, Archeron. You are 100% correct. I know for a fact I just got a message from somebody today from back in November. I will still be sending them their coin. If it's a month or two and people finally get back to me, I normally don't have a problem with getting that out. If it's been 6 months or more, at that point I'm like, eh. So, but yes, if you could check back within a week or so, just because that's all it takes is popping in, seeing if you have a little whisper up there to reply to. That's all. I don't ask for much, just a little bit, just a little bit. Do 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 do. Uh, oh no, I hope the treatment goes well. My Mima had a brain tumor. It was tough. Um, Funnily enough, Guardian, my mother had a brain tumor. Hers was oh hey look, I have headaches. Oh, I have headaches. Oh, my headaches are really fucking bad. So they scanned her and went, oh yes, you're going in for surgery. So my mother did give a doctor a piece of her mind once. As far as we know, she's been fine ever since. She has no sense of humor, but she had no sense of humor since I was born. Why? Because I stole it from her. She doesn't have a sense of humor anymore. It's mine now. This is why my father has lost his mind because I stole it. It's mine now. And they'll both laugh at that because that's my family. No problem, Chopper. Thanks for stopping in, man. I was late. Can we do the update? Again, since you asked, I will do so. It has been an hour and a half. We're probably going to be stopping this in a half an hour-ish anyway, but I'll give you an update. Hang on. Binding Words 11 came out mid-December. Nice, strong closeout to the series. 5.5 years of Binding Words, 11 books. I was really proud with that. Andy is currently recording the book. She will finish recording it tomorrow or the day after. It'll go to her editor. I will get it back probably the end of the month or early next month. I will get it proofed. I will give it to her for corrections, and then it'll be up to ACX, but probably you'll get the audio in February. She will be recording the audio for Lux Voice 7 in February, and then also recording the audio for Jesus, for Aether's Revival 8 in late February. So she'll be recording 2 more books in February for me, and we'll be all caught up before she rolls into the Wandering Inn, whatever it is. Coming up, we have currently Aether's Revival 8 Proven Strength coming out on February 24th. I will, of course, attempt to get it out before that, like I always do. Following that, we will have Heavenly Chaos 1. Heavenly Chaos. I am making sure that people don't get confused on what the series is by naming the first book the name of the series. Currently slated for May 1st. Once again, as always, I will try to get it out sooner than that. Following Heavenly Chaos, we will roll back into Antecedents Legacy 3. Terran Tactics is the name of that one. And then we will be rolling into Lux Voice 8, Emerita Divided. And that is where we stand on what things are going to happen. I have, of course, finished Aethers. That's with my proofers and whatnot, and I'll probably get that back and bundled up and out to you guys in February. Heavenly Chaos I have had written for about a year. It is with the editors. It is going through the editing process currently. I will be finishing Antecedents Legacy 3 in the next probably week or two, and then I will be rolling into Lux Voice 8. I already know what the title of that is. I actually have the artwork for that already, but nobody gets to see any of that until the week before the book publishes because I don't want to confuse people. Because if I show anyone the artwork ahead of time, people will immediately start looking for it. I know, because when I release it the Sunday before publication, I still get people going, "Well, you post the cover. I went looking for the book and I can't find it." Happens every time. Even though I've done it the same way for a couple of years now, it happens every time. That is the what is and what has been going on. I hope that works. In D&D, I always make sure to splash into diplomacy and persuasion. It's never not useful. It's always useful. Yeah, it is in fact always useful. There is I have never been in one game where you haven't had to talk to somebody at least once. Where you had to persuade somebody at least once. Even in the most, we kick down the door and loot everything not nailed down. If we have a crowbar, it's not nailed down. We still have always at least tried to persuade somebody at least once. So I actually prefer charismatic characters. In a D&D setting, I have played more talking characters than I have played I want to smash your face in characters. I have played more pacifists in D&D than I've played barbarians. Playing a con man who will never get into a fight or never start a fight, for me, is always way more fun. So, just just that way. Would be creepy if Darkness turns out to look like Greg's mom. Credence, I will 100% tell you right now that is never going to happen. That is something I do not. That is a line I do not cross. You have a lot of people wishing you well on the medication working. So, Skitty says, "Thank you, everyone." She hopes that it works too. They do make her feel pretty terrible, but if it works, then we can power through it. Once again, I say we by being moral support. So there we go. That's right. But I'm never going to say that. Have you ever started a story and just gone, nope, fuck you, dude, and quit? Yes. There have been two times, Kenobi, where I was like, this is a fun idea. These are old, like 6, 7 years old story kernels where I've started something and just gone, no. I have at least two where I've gotten 20 some odd chapters in and just haven't had that groove and haven't finished them. So I still have those, and they're good story kernels, but the muse just isn't telling me to write them. So they sit there. I will probably eventually get back to them. One of them is a story I will probably never publish. Actually, now that I think about it, it is very dark, very dark. That is not an anti-hero. That is a villain. I'll probably actually never finish that story, and if I do, I'll probably never publish it. But I wrote that bit when things weren't great. So that explains why I wrote it. Because sometimes you just need to let off steam. And if it's not killing pixels, it's mutilating people in a story. Because you can't go to jail for that normally. Normally. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Blastoise. Uh, a Squirtle with sunglasses and a saxophone. Man, the spit valve on that thing's got to get fucking overused. I'm just saying. I feel like it is hard to find a D&D group. I mean, Xerox, you're not wrong. You need to live in a place that has game stores. If you have a place that has hobby stores that run games, it is not difficult to find a game. It'll still be problematic to find a game that you are comfortable with. Finding a DM that you have enough rapport with that you can play, that the group isn't completely terrible that you can play with. But normally finding a game if you live in any kind of city isn't as difficult as it used to be. And if technology keeps going the way it is, because I know there's online software for people who are um, remoting in and using virtual sets or um, yeah, kind of virtual. They're using tile stuff online to make things work. I know a couple of games that run that way. Um, I think as technology and that kind of interaction improves more, you'll probably see even more of that happen. But once again, you're going to have to find a group that works for you. I am so close to having all the coins. Lost just as you're just about there. I'm gonna drop Heavenly Chaos, and then you're gonna be a coin back again anyway. It's just that cruel nature. It's tough. Our group plays like once or twice a month. Getting everyone together is a nightmare. That is true, Guardian. Schedule balancing for a group can be hard. The larger the group, the harder it becomes. Now, I live in this house with my girlfriends, of course, so getting our group together isn't this hard, but we still miss at times. When I play with my friend Sean, he comes over and we all play. Once again, we get together very frequently, but it doesn't always line up. Once or twice a month is actually fairly good for a D&D group, honestly. Most of them meet once a month if you're lucky. If you're really lucky, you'll find one that meets once a week. Um, and then it'll hold together for maybe a year or two, but those are always nice. Did he just say that after the surgery she gave the doctor a piece of her mind? I mean, that was the whole point. They had to take the tumor out, CB. Will Andy join us in any of the monthly live chats again? Hopefully, Guardian. It works around her schedule and whatnot, and what is going on in her life. She is always welcome. She knows this, um, but she is also beholden to schedules as well. So hopefully, we'll see her in February. Because I think February she is just doing two of my books, and I'll try to con her into coming in and making me laugh because me and her always have a great time together. Um, but once again, that is going to be up to her. Fans asking stupid questions equal faceboard face planting. No, fans asking stupid questions on here, Kenobi, is more normally me staring at the camera like what. So there are some people who come just to see if I get that look on my face at all. So uh, if we are able to ask D&D questions, how do you play a smart character when your player is not smart at all? If your player isn't smart and they're trying to play someone with an 18 intelligence, it's going to be difficult. But that's the same thing where I personally haven't studied astral magic for 16 years in the Great Academy, but my character did. So that's just a matter of things working out. But if your character is supposed to be intelligent, you shouldn't be trying to rush into combat all the time. You should probably be thinking about what you want to do a little more. Because I would have to run it through the normal process of editing and stuff, guys, and that's time away, and then other stories being pushed back. I mean, using it for like Patreon or something, yeah, it's fine. The dark things in my head, I don't want everyone to know. So if I ever did, it would be under a pen name, and I would never admit to it being me. Because there are some lines that people get iffy on, and for good reason. And that's not even the lines I say that I'm never crossing, guys. So keep that in mind. If you weren't writing, what would you be doing for a living? I would still be working at the jail, more than likely, Rob. I would still be doing the paperwork for inmates coming in before they get pushed through the county system. That is the job I gave up to be a full time writer. So if I was not doing what I am now, I would still be working for the county. I would still be looking at that nice county pension at the end of my time. Instead, I gave all that up to do this. And you know what? This is way better. I only hate one person I work with here, my boss. He's an asshole. Can't stand the guy. But, at least he's not a complete idiot like a lot of other bosses I've had in my lifetime. If a character is convinced they're smart, then the int is just a number. Fair enough, Archon. Then again, all the numbers are just numbers, and it's just a matter of you being able to role play through that. If you're not good at role playing, then it's always going to be a matter of just this is the number on the page, dude. What do you want from me? Doing D&D campaign with characters based on the Nakmak feel from Pratchett. I mean, Grid, that's a good time. Honestly, that's a good time. Normally, most things that you can that everyone's behind and can laugh about, those are good times. See, there's APOC. He does online games. My game group asked for a tabletop Empire Gambit after we played Risk the other day. Kenobi, I understand. One of these days, maybe it'll happen. It means finding a game creator publisher that I would feel okay giving the intellectual property rights to. Once again, time away from writing, so not really high on my list of things to do. I am caught up. I'm going to get these last few questions in, guys. So if you have any last minute questions, get them in now because I think we're coming to the end. Uh, I stopped hosting Pathfinder 1 and 3.5 groups a while ago because min maxers making the groups too skewed. I mean, APOC, that's what third edition D&D was for. Honestly, third edition D&D was the min-max heaven. It is why my best friend would love to only play third edition because he wants to do that. That is the only thing he loves. That is the thing he loves most about role playing is min-maxing his character. That is why he hates fifth edition. He still plays fifth edition because that's the only thing he can find to play, but he hates it. He feels that everyone is the same, and I keep telling him that's because he doesn't role play enough. Get into the character. Make the character alive. Don't make it just another rogue. Oh well. Thanks for coming, Wolf. I think I've caught up to everyone. Uh, the joys of working with Prisoner day after day. I can relate to Alpha World's main character even more. There you go, Kenobi. Getting to have you as a player in Starfighter is a total highlight, DJ. It's really hard for me for the online because it's not the same as it's not the same as sitting at a table. When 16 people, when the six people all want to do something, it just becomes a chaotic mess for me in my head for online gaming. Online gaming should be for me should be like a maximum of 4 players, and then at least it's a little more contained and it would probably function. But the more players you add in, even to a normal tabletop, but especially for online, the more players you add in, the more hectic, chaotic, and longer it drags everything out. Four to 6 players for a tabletop game, good numbers. Over 6, too cumbersome. Under 4 can be doable, hard, but 4, 5, or 6, it is where most gaming groups land, and it's for good reason. Mind you, I am running a game for just my 2 girlfriends, and my one girlfriend is running a game for just 2 of us. It does mean that we're basically running 2 characters each combined into one. We have a special system that we're working on and trying it out, and it makes things a little fuzzy, but it works. But it's fun, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you're doing it by the book. It matters if you're having fun. Uh, what about an excerpt in the back of the book or a supplementary small book that goes over general rules? Because once again, it takes me breaking down and taking the time to get rules situated and organized, and that is time away from actually writing a book, Archron. So, not something that I'm looking to do. If people want to try to homebrew it and they're not trying to make money off of it, I cannot. Nobody can stop you from taking something and making it for your own personal use. Disney cannot stop you from making a I would say Mickey Mouse keychain, but he's now apparently public. I need another Disney character, and I can't think of them all. Ariel. Okay, so you can make an Ariel keychain, and Disney can't do dick about that if it's for your own good. If you try to make one and sell one, now you're gonna get in trouble. If you want to go through what I've written and try to put together a rule set off of that and run it for yourself, meh. Personal use never crosses the line of intellectual property. As soon as you start trying to use or sell it to others, as soon as you start trying to make money off of it, now it crosses copyright and intellectual property lines. Now it's a problem. So, anytime I am not currently writing or recovering from writing is time away from the next book being delayed a little further and a little further and a little further. No, Lux Boy 7 was never going to wrap at 7. He still has to do more. It was setting the stage for the last arc into the series. No problem, Credence. Thanks for coming in, man. Or woman. Sorry, my default pronoun is male. Always has been. So everyone's man to me until I've been told otherwise. And get that out there just in case I've offended somebody today. So offended. Gonna get shut off Twitch for singing songs. Oh, does he? Okay. Skill. Learn to gauge players as a DM as a skill. It took me a long time to learn. It is DMing is something that will always evolve. Guardian. So getting someone to start running to take the time to start learning how to DM, it can be intimidating for someone starting out. So I suggest getting a small group of people that you trust and starting there if you're going to. Uh, Sir, sure. If you came back just in time as we're wrapping up, well done, sir. Okay, thank. What system are we running? She is running us through Phandelver, Phandelver and what's under that, and I am running them through the Feywilds. I have the Beetle and Grim box sets because they make uh, running easier because I don't have the time to fully flesh out a game on my own anymore. So I have invested into the box sets because then I have everything at my fingertips that I need to run a game. And Steamboat Willie is public IP, but Mickey is yeah, but Mickey is Steamboat Willie. That version of art of him is now public domain, so that's why there's like a horror movie and game being produced on it already. So hey. Okay, so I've gotten to the end. I've caught up on everything, guys. Thank you for coming. It's an hour and 56 minutes in, so right around that normal 2 hour stop time. I appreciate the 30 plus of you who've been here. Make sure to check your whispers in the next, couple of days to a week just to see if you're one of the winners, please. This way I can get coins out to people in a timely fashion. Um, for those people who saw the fact that they had one from before and messaged me today with the information, you will be going out with this batch of people. So thank you very much, guys. I will see you February 15th, 3 p.m. my time. So about an hour from now, next month on the 15th, for people who are trying to do time changes and whatnot. Until then, guys, stay safe out there because people are stupid, and I swear it's getting stupider. Bye.